Okay. So this question was posed and it says not for live streaming, but I liked it, so I decided to ask it. In Making Love to God, Ananda speaks about the disruptive influence of coffee. Is this true for tea as well? And by tea, I mean the regular traditional tea, which are processed leaves of Camellia sinensis plant, the ones we boil in water. And based on preferences, add milk and sweetener to, and not the other versions. So they're talking about what I call proper tea. Proper English tea, although I guess it's Indian, I suppose. Okay, let's see what Jesus has to say about tea and coffee. These chemicals that you choose to ingest, and you will notice that they are cultural chemicals, entire populations will use them. This is your first clue that these are not there through free will. Because if you have beings who are not trained in something, who are free to choose whatever they want, there will be a huge variety in those choices. So when you see a system, a cultural system, an educational system, a living system that is very, very repetitive from between different age groups, different ethnicities sometimes, different body types, different ages, you will know that that is a program running. Because free will be quite different based on each individual being. Some people will like red, some people will like blue, some people will like yellow, some people like green, some people will like a particular shade of beige. You'll see all kinds of different choices. But when a program is running, you will see everybody playing out the same scenario. So what is tea? Well, tea is a medication. It can be used as a medication and is used as a medication in British society, and our dear one was raised in that society and used tea, and occasionally still does use tea to medicate her feelings. So what happens in British society is the ceremony of tea is used when you're happy. We had a great day, let's have a cup of tea. When you are sad, come on love, have a cup of tea. It'll make you feel better. And it is used on a constant basis, and you must remember it's caffeinated, so that means it's addictive. The more you use it, the more you want to use it, and the easier it gets to use it. It is used to medicate feelings. In what way? Well, when you have tea, it has a temperature, so that gives the brain something to focus on. It's hot. It has a texture. The sense of touch comes into play. It has a taste. That sense comes into play. You get to look at it. The steam is coming off it, the color, all of these things. The cup is warm. You've got a multi-sensory event happening. And once that liquid goes into your body, you've often got sweetness. You've got some sense of soothing going down into the gullet and through the stomach. And you have a complete distraction happening from the upsetting thought that you had. You also have a distraction from the joyful feeling. If you're having a joyful feeling and you have a cup of tea to celebrate that, now this may seem harmless to you, and we don't mean to throw a wet rag on your life here, but if you have a joyful feeling and don't go to a substance, you will get an inspiration, you will get an idea, you will get something coming out of you from that place of joy that will improve your life. But if you take that sense of joy and go into the physical body through the senses with a cup of tea, then you are usurping that creative energy and taking it down into the physical. So as a cultural medication, it works because the British society is quite a distressing one. It's a very old demonstration of control and judgment mechanisms. You will know that many of the colonial activities came from England. Many of the political power plays come from there. The financial center of London is a powerful player on the international money markets. And so that is a very, very old and well-established system. And the beings there suffer deeply a lot of pain and judgment and restriction. If you go to England, you will see these massive cities of people living in incredibly close quarters, expensive and crowded conditions, and you will see vast expanses of greenery out in the countryside where there aren't very many people. And that is a demonstration of that lower energy winning. In higher frequency places, you will see a more dispersed community. You will see more people on the land. You will see more family farms and organic farms and cooperatives like communes and these kinds of things. Because centralizing in urban circumstances is very detrimental to your health. And that is one of the reasons, that is one of the things that tea does. The restrictions and limitations of that society are soothed by a constant stream of cups of tea. Now, this does not mean that you can't have a cup of tea. What it means is if you find yourself wanting a third cup and a fourth cup and a fifth cup throughout the day, ask yourself, what's going on here? Why am I seeking this sensory stimulation? Am I bored? Am I lonely? Am I angry? Am I hungry? What's really going on? If you find yourself going for multiple cups, then stop yourself on the third one and say, what am I actually looking for here? I'm lonely. Oh, okay, I'm going to a cup of tea because I don't feel very good. I feel alone. Let me connect to my guides and teachers. Let me go into an internal place of vertical connection first. You'll notice that we don't say, don't go out and find people necessarily first, because the feeling of separation and loneliness really does come from your disconnection from the divine. It is manifested in the physical form for you to see demonstrated so that you may see it. But the real origin of that place is your disconnection from spirit, from love, from your home, from your guides and teachers, from wisdom, from information. So go there first, go into prayer, go into a place of saying, I'm not alone, God is with me. I'm not alone, my guides and teachers are with me. Give me a sign, give me a connection. I'm feeling lost here, but I am choosing to come back into that place to connect rather than going to a substance outside of me to distract me from what is actually happening. So that is often what's going on with the tea thing. And in North America and globally more and more, the coffee thing is about production, and it is about activity, and it is about ambition, because the world has become capitalistic to a fault, and that disease is spreading around. And if you watch where coffee goes, that's where the capitalism is really, really at play, because it's about productivity, it's about not resting, it's about pushing, it's about action. And it is that which is, of course, fueling the economy. And the economy is where the top echelon of orchestrators of your world get their money and get their power and get their influence. So that system is fueled by coffee. Now, there's nothing wrong with having 1 cup of coffee in the morning if you enjoy the taste. But it is an addictive substance. It is an agitator. If you are on the path towards peace, then it's not in alignment with the choices that you say you are making. So that's where you want to ask yourself, why am I consuming something that agitates when I say I'm looking for peace? That is really a fundamental contradiction in my mind. Let me see if it's a habit that I can address. And if you are not willing to, that is fine for now. We will tell you as the frequencies of this planet go up, and as you go through your forgiveness practice, and as you apply the lessons of A Course in Miracles after you studied them, you will be able to relinquish lower frequency habits more and more easily, because they are now out of accord with where you have taken yourself through your free will. So again, watch the frequency, how you're using it. Are you addicted? Deal with the physical addiction. If you are having 5 or 6 cups a day, and if you are putting cream and sugar in those things, then you are getting a lot of useless calories, which are not benefiting the health of your body-mind system. Again, you have to say to yourself, if I am saying I'm a spiritual student, a spiritual practitioner, and yet I am giving empty, addictive calories to my body, then I am in conflict with myself, because what I'm saying and what I'm doing aren't a match. And I'm using my free will to choose both. That's mixed choices, mixed frequency choices. That's going to give me mixed results. That's going to make me seem as if I'm not making progress, because in actual fact, that choice is detrimental to my frequency elevation. So this is a very long-winded answer to the question, but it is the truth. Ask yourself what you are using it for. It is not an across-the-board answer. How many cups of tea are you having? What's in them? If you are having sugar and milk and frequent cups, then you are using it in an abusive way, and it's good to ask the question. The next time you go to make a cup of tea, stop and sit down and say, why do I want that cup of tea? If you say it's because I'm thirsty, then have a cup of water and sit down and see if you still want the tea. And you will often find that you don't, that you were, in fact, thirsty. And it's a cultural training to go to a cup of tea when you are thirsty, but that's not going to benefit your body, especially if you're in high temperatures. The body needs lots and lots and lots of water. And so if you have a habit of tea and coffee, we say, have a glass of water before you let yourself have the coffee. Have a glass of water before you let yourself have the tea. And you will eliminate 50% of those choices, because you're having them because you're thirsty, and neither of those drinks will quench your thirst. It will, in fact, dehydrate you more. So make sure that you're aware of the physical attributes of the drinks that you're drinking and what they do to the body, and ask yourself, are they in accord with the story that I'm telling myself of being a spiritual student? If they're not in accord with that story, then reassess the drinks that you are having. We will return shortly.